What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I am your host and captain and dad, Garrett Morlang. And here in the virtual studio with me is the homeboy himself, Adrian Holmes. That's right, our Patreon producer, top dog, our boss. He's here with us. How you doing, Adrian?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How about yourselves?
Doing good. Doing better now that you're here. You know, we have a little more, hands-on leadership going on here. You're here. You can set us straight, or set JJ straight. I guess just to be more specific, keep him in line. But yeah, it's good to have you, and I'm excited to talk some Game Awards with you because I know, you always have such good insights. It's fun to have you.
I try. I just think a lot. That's all. I have time to think a lot.
Well, you do a lot more thinking than our other guest here, the one, the only, JJ Purdom.
It's completely true. You do a whole lot more thinking than I ever could possibly do, except for when I'm really stoned. When that happens, I do a whole lot of thinking. It's never good thinking. Yeah, it's never good thinking, but I try. I also try. Adrian, it's great to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us this week. Yeah, he is our boss, which is awesome because I am also Garrett's boss. So I guess like Garrett, you're used to a couple of big dudes telling you what to do, huh? And it's not like the time when you were in jail that one time when you got taken advantage of sexually. You remember?
Wait. We don't talk about that. There's still legal things going on with that.
Yeah. Adrian, as my lawyer, what can I say about this?
We cannot discuss this case at this time.
I could have swore the statute of limitations were over on that. I am so sorry. I didn't mean for it. It got kind of like dirty quick. See what happens? You start letting me go, and like things start happening. I start talking like filth. It's a thing, man. Yeah. It's a thing. You're gonna edit that out. Just take it right out.
Definitely not. I don't have enough time for that. Well, yeah. How's your week been, Adrian? How's last week was Game Awards week. You've had Cyberpunk now for a little bit. You've had your Series X for a couple weeks. How's your week been?
It's been good. Just still kind of getting acquainted to the Series X. Still awesome. Can't wait to continue to get more acquainted with it. Load times are awesome. It's super beefy. I love the design. I think they nailed it. It's whisper quiet. I can't make it sweat as much as I try with anything I put on it.
You were telling me that before the show that you keep throwing stuff at it and the fan is like barely kicked on. Blows my mind.
Yeah, even if it is under load, I can't tell because it will not. I mean, I can put my ear like right next to it and it will not kick up enough noise to make any difference. And that's insane. That's just it's incredible. I know people like who have PCs are like, yeah, my PC does that all the time. But it's like you don't understand the engineering that has to go into making something like that. With those specs fit into a 6x6 cube.
Yeah, like a little shoebox. Like it's pretty impressive to like not have it overheating when it's so compact and smashed in there.
Right,
it's pretty crazy.
But yeah, it's rad. I'm glad a lot of things got recognition at the Game Awards. We're probably going to go over that a little bit. So looking forward to talking about that.
Yeah, definitely gonna talk about some Game Awards stuff later on. What about you, JJ? How was your week?
Remember a little while ago when I started talking about how you were sexually abused in prison? I remember telling a homeschooled Christian family a little while ago that, you guys can listen to the podcast and it's always clean. And then I said that stuff today. And I just told them that literally an hour before I came here. And I don't know why. It's almost like the internal devil on my shoulder was saying, hey, listen, dude, what are you doing? Hey, remember when you say like nice stuff? No, he's always clean. Don't worry. Hey, say something dirty about male. Right, apparently, he's like very cool dude. He's like saying like, why not make talk about sexy time? Another man taking sexual favors from Garrett in prison. Saying like, oh Garrett, you drop soap. I take advantage of you, enter you anally. It's like I feel horrible. I need like a filter, and that's why Zech is great to have on the show. And I'm trying to impress Adrian with my coolosity. I don't even know if that's a word, but gosh, man. Garrett, you got to stop me right away or, you know what I mean? Start the video over.
We don't have time
It's
for
already
that,
gone, isn't
unfortunately.
it?
It's too late. I've already sent it to YouTube. It's on its way
Never,
right there.
never any time.
Oh,
Never
man.
any time. And I can never get it back.
Yeah.
It's in the ether. You got to live with it.
It's out there. It's on the internet now. That'll come back to haunt you in about 10 years when you get canceled. So sorry.
That
Sorry, I
ether
was the one who
stuff.
canceled you.
Yeah. I've used that ether stuff to put girls out in the past. So, I mean, it's good stuff, that ether stuff.
Oh!
Just put a little bit. I mean, the problem is,
Okay. How about we move on here to some housekeeping? Today we're talking about the Game Awards winners, the Game Awards announcements, what we thought about the show, and also Halo Infinite officially launching fall 2021. Yeah, we'll see about that one. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Super Gamer producer, Adrian, the homeboy Holmes, and our Super Gamer sponsors. We got Bill Bird, Julie Bates, Brent Fox, and Daniel James. Thank you guys so much for all your support. We love you guys. Appreciate all the love and support you guys show. And I love reading you guys' name every week. It's awesome. It just makes me feel so good about continuing the show, because tell you what, it's hard to keep it going, but knowing that there's people who have our back no matter what, it's really encouraging. So thank you all and Adrian, you're here. Thank you so much for just supporting us there and telling us in that way, like, hey, we want you to keep making stuff, because that's the motivation I need and JJ us to keep making cool stuff for you. At least try your best.
Keep it up.
Best. So if you want to support us over there, just like our friends, support us over at patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can get Super Gamer Book Club bonus episodes. Their bonus show you only get through Patreon this month. So it's the first Friday of the month. You get the episodes now. We've kind of switched it up a little bit this month, but this month was Last of Us. Go give that one a listen. And then next month, so January, that first Friday, January, will be Halo 4. It'll be Zetch. He kind of runs that show, and he'll have a couple guests on there talking about Halo 4, which that was an Xbox One game, correct? Or was that 360
Halo
still?
4 was 360. It was the last one on 360.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, support us for just $1 a month. You can get that, but we'll talk more about our Patreon later. Before we get to the next segment in the show, more housekeeping. We have a Cyberpunk 2077 impressions stream that will be happening on Thursday, December 17th at 8 p.m. ish. Our plan is to start at 8 p.m. I told everyone, be ready at 7:30, so we'll see. Hopefully everyone will be ready at 7:30, so at 8 I can hit go live. But we are going to talk about Cyberpunk 2077, talk about the controversies, talk about our thoughts on the game, what we love, what we don't love. We're going to go deep. It'll be over at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys. If you're having a hard time finding it, just go to supergamerboys.com, and at the top there should be a tab that says watch. You can click on that and it'll give you our YouTube or Twitch link. So it'll be through Twitch. Find us over there. Follow our page ahead of time. That way when we go live, you'll get the notification. It's going to be Adrian. He's going to be joining us. Zetch is going to be on there. Dan, if you remember him from the Series X review episode, and I'll be on there. Originally, Nate was going to be there, but Nate backed out last minute. So
I'll give you a stinger. For that, for Thursday.
All right, give it to us.
All right. When we talked about BioShock, we talked about how it's a masterclass in how the world is a masterclass, right? In world building and just the structure of it from developer standpoint. This is on the same platform. As far as the design of the world, the intricacies, how it's laid out, how it's believable.
Yeah.
To me, this is on the same platform as BioShock. And I'll stop there.
Okay. So if you wanna hear more about Adrian's take there, saying it's on par with BioShock, essentially, I'm gonna totally take your phrase, your statement out of context here. It's better than BioShock. No, just kidding.
That's what I heard.
If you want to hear more about that and more, remember, come visit us at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys. And we'll be going for who knows how long. We're just going to talk until the computer shuts down on me, because that's about what keeps happening with my laptop now. But yeah, well, let's get into the next part of the show here, which would normally be mailbag, but you know what? Let me check real quick. Let's see if we got any questions, because last week I spent all that, or 2 weeks ago, spent all that time getting that stinger. The last time Zetch did it, it was so much fun having his voice back on the show, even though he wasn't here. Let's see. Yeah, no questions. So,
okay, real quick,
sorry.
The stinger, the little soundbite that you used of him saying mail time, of all the times that Zetch has said that, was legitimately the worst. It sounded like Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump had literally lined up a straw with a large amount of Coke and just did one fat rail, and then was like, mail time. And I mean, I was legitimately worried for what was happening inside that man's brain. Oh, you grabbed the worst one, dude.
Mail, Lieutenant Dan.
He's like, hey, Lieutenant Dan, mail time. It's mail.
I went to, it was our 100th episode, and I think it was the last episode he was on. That's where I pulled it from. So it was like the last time he did it, it was our big celebration, 2-year birthday, 100th episode. I'm like, oh, that's the only one that's on my hard drive that I didn't want to pull on my external. So I'm like, it's quick, easy access. So that's what we're going with. Sorry, Zetch. Oh man, good stuff. But so let's get into the nerdy nudes. It's
now time, and it's brought to you by.
He did not like that last time.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's brought to you by the game of the year, The Last of Us 2, featuring some
guns
stuff as well as
zombies.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for The Last of Us 2's The News.
That was something else there, JJ. Something else.
I know.
Really.
I'm just looking for hate from Zetch. I just want Zetch to like try to attack me physically, because I don't know what, I feel like he's like a spider monkey, and I don't know. I want to get climbed on by him, like a jungle gym. So I gotta throw him down like Godzilla. No, you can't say that. That's not a good accent. I just want to throw him down and you know what I mean. I can manhandle somebody for a change. So come on, Zetch, bring it. I'm challenging you MMA style. Nate already took you out, made your tap. You tapped out.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
I should not have smoked that right before the show.
Yeah, no, not a great idea. Not a great one.
No.
Alrighty. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this show. We're talking about the Game Awards 2020. They happened last Thursday, was it? The 10th?
Yes, the 10th.
Yeah, so Thursday.
They had the nerve to come out when Cyberpunk came out.
Right, the same day as Cyberpunk, and also started at 2:30 in the afternoon, when I'm still at work. I'm like, what the heck? How am I supposed to? In years past, we've done, I think the year prior, I did a live reaction stream. I was on Twitch, and streamed them, and it was super fun, just hanging out with random people in chat and watching. And this year I'm like, oh, I can't do that because I'll still be at work for 3 more hours, but okay. So right off the bat, it was kind of strange that they did that, having it in the middle of the day like that. Mm-hmm. But boy, there was some winners, there were some losers, there were some announcements. Yeah, they had a little bit of everything there.
Some robberies.
Yeah, for sure, man. So let's just get into, like I said, meat and potatoes here. We're going to talk about some of the winners, and we're not going to hit every award. We just want to hit the big ones. And what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to name some games and then the awards they won. Instead of naming each individual award, we're going to top level the games, because there's just a handful of games that pretty much kind of cleaned everything out for the most part. So let's start from, instead of starting with the big one, let's start with some of the smaller stuff. So Among Us won Best Multiplayer, Best Mobile Game. Unfortunately, Animal Crossing New Horizon only won Best Family Game. I know that's, Adrian, not so excited about that one. And honestly, I think it could have, I don't know. I'm trying to think now, what else it could have won. Because there was some really good nominees in some of the other categories, but I feel like it should have won something else. I don't know what, but
yeah, I think it could have gone up for music. I think it could have gone.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it could have gone up for art direction. A couple other things.
Yeah, and let's see. Was it nominated for those? Like, so now looking at art direction, it was not nominated for that, and score and music, it wasn't even nominated for that either, which is surprising.
Yeah.
Like it didn't even get nominated for those ones. It pretty much only got nominated for Game of the Year, and then
which is a heck of a nod, but still, it deserved to get a look in those other categories.
That's quite a spread. I feel like normally Game of the Year contenders pretty much like you can just copy and paste that to game direction, narrative, art direction, score. Like pretty much whatever is nominated for Game of the Year usually ends up being nominated for all those other categories. So it's very strange to me that like it got nominated for Game of the Year, but it doesn't show up in any of those. Right. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So it's a really great game, but didn't have anything good in it according to these nominees or whatever. Like very, very, very strange. We had a Half-Life Alyx won Best VR AR game. Hades won. Yeah, there you go. Zetch, it won an award. It
got something.
It got something there. Hades won Best Indie Game, Best Action Game, which dude, Hades, so good. I'm glad it got some love there. Final Fantasy VII Remake got Best Score and Music, which 100% deserved that one.
Absolutely.
Now you would actually probably know best, Adrian, because you're always post stuff about like video game music on your Twitter. Can you listen to the score? Like, is it on Spotify or iTunes or anywhere? Like the Final Fantasy, the remake?
Square is really they're really sometimey with their soundtracks. Okay. Some games they'll put on streaming services, and some games they'll sell the soundtrack to. I think you can buy the Final Fantasy VII remake, but I don't know if it's only on vinyl. I feel like
interesting. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because that was like when I played that game, I was like, "Holy cow!" Like the music is so good. Like I would honestly like sit in areas just so I could like listen to the music. I'd be like, "I'm just gonna chill here for a little bit" because this soundtrack's so good.
What were the nominees on that one?
So score music was Final Fantasy VII Remake, Doom Eternal, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and the last was Part 2, which. Hades, just Saturday, I was actually listening to that soundtrack with my family. We were just sitting in the living room, like chilling. Like I was playing with my son, with Shep, and like I just had the Hades soundtrack going. It's so good. Trudy walked in the room like, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's a masterpiece. That's what this is." So good. Dude,
Supergiant doesn't miss. They don't miss. They've had 4 A+ games in a row. I'm so scared for the flop. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I mean, you can't. This is like they're in their early Pixar phase right now, where everything that comes out is just hit. So
Dang.
I don't know. I don't know what their Cars 2 is going to be, and I'm so scared for it. I'm so scared.
Cars 2. Oh no! I hope they don't have a Cars 2. Yeah. Dude, yeah, I was very impressed by Hades, and I'm very happy. Again, like I said just a second ago, I'm glad they got some love. They got the indie game. They got best action game because they. Like, I don't think they, let's see, were they even nominated for, they were nominated for Game of the Year. It's like, I don't know if it quite hits that level, but they definitely hit, like, some of those.
I've heard a lot of people making cases, and I'm like, I cannot disagree with your points, so.
Okay. I feel
like if Animal Crossing was able to make the list, then I think Hades can make the list, so.
Okay, yeah. I'll need to like seek out some of those arguments in because I'm curious, like because I saw it got nominated for Game of the Year. I'm like, did it really deserve? Like, it's a great game, I love it, but Game of the Year. So I'd be curious to hear their arguments and see if they could sway me over because I did enjoy it, and it is one like you guys all know me. I get into a game and then I very quickly like, ooh, shiny, get distracted over here. Like I drop games left and right. Hades is one of those games that like hooked me and grabbed me. And when a game hooks me and grabs me, like it doesn't happen often, but when it does, I'm like, oh, I'm 100% in. Like Final Fantasy VII. Like I was like, this one I'm going to buy. I bought it on a whim like the day before it came out, pre-ordered it. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to grab me at all, but everyone's hyping it up. Let's give it a shot. I like the demo. And then, it grabbed me and I was like 100% in and I like beat it in like a couple days. Like that's unheard of for me too. Cause I have a kid and all this stuff, like a family and work. Now, I was like, I knocked it out in like a few days. But,
it grabbed you you said you had never played the original 7, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, that's another
So
thing.
that's even more impressive because me and everybody else who was freaking out about it was freaking out because of the original one and seeing it now. So the fact that it was able to grab you like it did, having zero previous experience with it, really, really speaks to the quality of the game.
Yeah,
because we were riding high on nostalgia and it just happened to be good.
100%.
But you not knowing anything and saying it's this good, that means it's really something, something special.
And for me, like, honestly, like, so the game of the year contenders were, so my list is, here it is. So Last of Us Part 2 was nominated, Animal Crossing New Horizons was nominated, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and Hades. So I'd only played 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 of those games, I'll say. Because, I hadn't finished Last of Us Part 2. I got a good chunk of the way through it. And then another one I even like kind of did like a partial playthrough as well. And out of all of those, like, honestly, because I did the voting on Game Awards website, I voted for Final Fantasy VII Remake, and because of exactly what you said, I didn't have the nostalgia going into it. I was just like, I know this is a game everyone loves. What's all the hubbub about? And holy cow, like, it just blew me away. So, it's a hot game for sure.
Wait, so Garrett, I'm sorry, I caught something a second ago, and I just want a clarification from you if I can. Did you say you did not finish The Last of Us 2? Like, is that possible?
That is, in fact, true.
Wait. So you didn't finish The Last of Us 2. I just want to make sure that I heard you.
I was trying to let you slide, Garrett. I was trying to get the conversation forward. I knew he was going to double back on it.
I'm feeling like you don't really finish games. You know what I mean? And like, that kind of makes you somewhat of a fake gamer. You know what I mean?
Or a true gamer, because I like to dip my toes in it all, you know? I just can't stop myself. I got to touch all the games.
Actually, that does make you a true gamer.
Oh, man. No, I was hoping you wouldn't put me on blast there, but thanks, JJ, for bringing that to everyone's attention. Yes, I did not.
Well, now you got to fix it because everybody's looking at you.
100%. Got to fix it now as soon as I finish Cyberpunk 2077 in like 200 hours.
I was going to say, good luck.
Yeah. Oh, man. Ghost of Tsushima won Best Art Direction. And then here's the big one. Won 6 awards on Thursday night. The Last of Us Part 2, the one game I did not finish. It won Best Action Adventure Game, Best Performance. It was Laura Bailey won that for Abby. Best Audio Design, Best Narrative, Best Game Direction, and of course, the Game of the Year. So it's won a lot of the heavy hitter awards there. Some major milestones there. Pretty impressive. So shout out to Last of Us Part 2 for just killing it.
It's one for the books. The only one I can argue with you is probably Action. What was it? Action Adventure?
Yeah. So we can go into. I mean, we've already done a little bit, but let's go into some of these topics if there were kind of some things that we thought should have went a different way. So Action Adventure. Let me look up that list. So the nominees for that were Last of Us Part 2, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and then Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
I'd have probably given it to Miles.
Okay.
I have not finished Miles yet. I'm still in the playthrough. My son's finished it already. He finished it in one day, and he's 9. So, and of course, he let me know, Dad, haven't you been playing that for the last few weeks? And at that point, I said, you're going to bed, no dinner. So, who wins, really? You know what I mean? So why do you say that you would have given it to Miles, Adrian? Did you get an opportunity to play the game, or have you just watched a lot of people streaming it?
I watched a lot of people streaming it. And just on the basis of streaming it alone, I think this encapsulates a Spider-Man, I guess a Spider-Man adventure, I think. This does really well in doing that. I think the set pieces were really well done. I think the combat I think is really well done.
It's amazing.
It's just it's an evolution on 2018 Spider-Man, and that was already excellent. So
100%.
there goes your action. Like I said, you got action set pieces for days. I think Last of Us combat is definitely an improvement on the first one, but I still did run into hitches in certain places with how it operates.
Right.
Because instinctively I wanted to do something like turn a corner and go over there and drop down, and there's systems in place or something with that system doesn't let you do those actions in that order. And I don't think people had that complaint with Miles, where you can pretty much do whatever moves they let you do whenever you want to do them. So I could see Miles taking that category. I think Miles should have probably got that one.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I haven't played Miles Morales, but just playing the original Spider-Man. Yeah, because I feel like looking at like what does it mean to win Best Action Adventure Game? Like I think you nailed it with like it has the big set pieces. It has to have obviously exciting and fun action, bombastic adventure and stuff like that. But also playing into that is again, the physical control side of it. And Spider-Man, I mean, that was one of the perks, at least with the original one. I haven't played Miles Morales, but it was like the most fluid game. Like everything just felt so natural, felt so good. Because that plays into the action, that plays into the adventure when you actually feel like that character. Like it's like, oh, seamless just to hit the trigger and I'm slinging webs. I'm swinging around the city, running up walls. Now I'm going to vault off of this rooftop, do a backflip, whatever. I
don't think Last of Us was about action. I don't think that's what they were going for.
Exactly, yeah. And that's where it's kind of like...
It wasn't. And Spider-Man Miles Morales definitely has the edge in... how beautiful it looks, and in the combat. The combat's far superior to Last of Us 2. I don't think Last of Us 2 is an action adventure game. It's a story. That's really what the whole game is about. It's just you fall in love with these characters. You feel incredible feelings. You feel despair, and like when Joel dies, there's a lot of what
were they supposed to say that out?
Spoilers. We'll bleep it later.
It's that game made me feel more than any other game, just other than Last of Us the original. So I get that it got Game of the Year. I believe that it should have gotten Game of the Year. But yeah, as far as like action adventure, Spider-Man's Miles Morales, maybe it's because I've got that PS5 haze going on right now where it's like new and it's amazing, but the story is there too. The story is really there for Miles Morales. It's actually a lot better than people have given it credit for.
I think, those are valid comparisons. Like, and what popped in my head is like, oh, Last of Us Part 2 is really a movie that you can control some parts of it. Like it really is like, and just in the way the storytelling is, and even like the way it's, designed even too, like the way it's directed, like all this stuff. Yes.
I'd like to call everybody out who likes Last of Us Part 2, but does not like Metal Gear Solid 4, because this is the same thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, from what I've played,
a movie you can play, just like MGS4 was a movie you can play, and people 100%. Love to bring that up about MGS4. So
I like Metal Gear Solid 4. I enjoyed that one.
I could go into it. I think it's the best one.
Okay. It's good. It's definitely not the bottom of my list. I'll say that. It's not the bottom of my list.
I've heard him say that 5 Phantom Pain was actually his favorite. So we're not supposed to talk about that, huh?
Well, sorry. No, your favorite and the best one are different things.
True.
Okay. Yeah. I see you. And then where Miles Morales, like that makes sense as an action adventure game. Like, so it seems weird that, like you guys have already said, I'm just repeating it. Last of Us Part 2 feels weird to be here because, it's a movie that you hit buttons once in a while, where Spider-Man Miles Morales is like, oh no, this is something like an action game that I'm actually controlling. If it's a game, it feels more like a game, which doesn't make it. It's not a bad thing at all. Like it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun game too. Where Last of Us Part 2 is not a fun game. Like
it's not fun. It's not fun.
So Miles Morales is so fun that not only has my 9-year-old beaten the game in one day, my 5-year-old daughter has been playing it and she loves the game. She loves and it's funny because she's never actually played a combat game other than like Fortnite. She is making the sounds and moving when she's hitting everybody, when she's Spider-Man. So she's hitting people and she's like, oh. And dude, it's the coolest thing in the world to watch my little girl play that game and get really into it. And I'm like, dude, she's sweating because she's moving around so much. It's like when I'm at home doing all my cardio and stuff.
That's so good.
That's awesome.
Watching kids play games is the best. Like they just get so into it. As I scrolling back through some of these awards, I think the only other one I really want to talk about is just real quick. The strangest award that they gave out of the night was probably the most anticipated game.
Whose harebrained idea was that? That makes no sense.
What game are you excited about? Like that's
all of them. I'm excited about all of them.
Yeah, and this is completely like proves a point that like I had a discussion with Zetch about kind of comparing the like Game Awards versus Dice Awards versus like other things. And really I should have brought this up. Like this completely even proves my point further. Like what in the world is the Game Awards really? And at the end of the day, when like one of their categories is most anticipated game. Exactly. It's an ad. Yeah. It's a 3-hour long ad basically. And that's not including the pre-show. It was so about 3 hours, almost 4 hours of ads. But most anticipated game, they had Elden Ring, Halo Infinite, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War sequel, Resident Evil Village, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. I love how they don't even have the names for them. So they just say like sequel.
Right.
Like
that's how far out they are.
Yeah. And the winner was Elden Ring. It's like, okay, cool. Like who cares?
Why? Because it says George R.R. Martin. We haven't seen a thing from it. Not a piece of concept art.
Man.
Even the teaser trailer was just wasn't it just that little wasn't like a sword or some kind of like the silhouette of the ring or something.
Yeah,
how do I get excited about that?
It's a bizarre category.
Hasn't even finished the last Game of Thrones book. You want me to worry about him finishing this game?
I would honestly be like, I'd almost be like a little embarrassed to be From Software to get this award in the mail. Like what do I do with this? Like we didn't earn this at all. Like we like why do we have this award?
Congratulations for working on your game. What?
It's like a participation award. What's going on here?
Pretty much.
Man. So yeah, those are the award winners there. At least some of the big ones. There's a lot more awards, but I don't know anything about esports and that kind of stuff, so we won't touch on that. But let's talk about. Actually, you know what? I think this is a good point to bring Zetch in. That's right. We're bringing him back from the dead. So before we get into our next
Zombie
segment,
Zetch.
we're gonna see if I can finagle this up here. So let's see if this button works. And hit. Oh no, it's already not working. Here we go. Oh, we're fighting it. We're getting there. We're hanging there, everyone. Hang in there. This is gonna look funny on YouTube, but we'll get there.
We'll make it work.
We'll make it work. Alrighty. So, y'all ready for this? Here is our good boy Zetch.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, everybody else on the show for letting me chime.
And by the way, if anyone wants to chime in too on his video, just tell me like, hey, like let's slow this down a little bit. So
we can stop Zetch from talking and then we can interject. Oh my God, I love this. We should have him do this all the time on the show. Always. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh my. Okay, so here we go.
I'm in with a quick little video thing. I'm gonna try to keep this under 5 minutes. Today is my wife's birthday, and no offense, but she's a lot more attractive than all of you. And so I wanted to spend my time celebrating that with her this evening than recording an episode about one of the year's most disappointing things I ever watched. So,
interesting take.
with that said, it wasn't all bad, in my opinion. I'm sure a lot of you kind of had a lot more to be excited about than me. But that's just because it's really hard to get me excited these days. So, the first thing I was excited about was Medal of Honor Above and Beyond in VR, which is a VR game from Respawn, which is awesome. World War II game. I'm pumped about that. I've been looking forward to a World War II game of this caliber, pardon the pun, in VR, and it looks like we're finally about to get it. So I'm stoked about that. I'm also excited about Nier Replicant, because I really love Nier Automata, and looks like Nier Replicant's just a remake of the old one, so can't wait for a chance to. Sorry, I've been drinking eggnog.
I mean, it's more of a prequel to the older one.
So I'm really excited about that. Nier Replicant.
Is it actually a prequel to it? I guess I've never really played the Nier games, but what is it supposed to be previously in the timeline?
From what I understand, so before Nier Automata, there was the first Nier game.
Right.
So this is like
Nier,
a prequel, right? So this is like a prequel to all of that.
Okay.
From what I get.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I don't think it's a remake of anything. I think it's a prequel to the Nier game. I don't know if it's straight to Automata or if it's a prequel to a game before the game. If it's a prequel to the game that came before Automata,
right? Okay.
But I know they said it was a prequel to something, so I don't think it's a remake of anything.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Well, is there even much information out on it, like any trailers or anything like that, or other than just
I think they showed a trailer
little bit they
last
showed
night.
on Game Awards? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the first real glimpse that we got at it.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I kind of. I'll be straight up. I watched it later on YouTube, the Game Awards, and I kind of skipped stuff that I didn't care about. So I think I skipped that section. I was like,
well, if you didn't like Nier Automata, you probably won't like this.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We'll just play it like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I wouldn't say excited, but it was good to see Mass Effect and Dragon Age get their own little, trailers. Even though CGI trailers are like the dumbest way to show off a game. Like, what is the point? You just spent all this money making a CGI movie when you could have just said, we don't know what this game is going to be. And, or maybe you do know, but we don't want to tell you. And so here's a CGI trailer with some really vague messaging. You know what else works better than that? It's just a title screen with the name of the game and coming soon. It works just as effective in my opinion. I don't really care about the CGI stuff. Like
I both agree and disagree with that. It's like, yeah, you're right. Like 100%. We could just, have a title screen be like, hey, it's coming soon, and we'd all get hyped. But there is, again, this is Game Awards, where it's all about, hey, get people hyped out of their minds. Having a CGI trailer that has, like, you start out not knowing what it is, and then at the end it reveals what's going on. Like, it's another level of hype. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm more just saying, like, it's still fun, though. It's fun. It's unnecessary, but it's fun.
It depends. But it's fun depending on how good it is.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's like, apparently there's a lot of Easter eggs in the Mass Effect one. I haven't gone back to watch it yet because I want to sit down and be able to actually really analyze it. Like, there's audio cues and sound effects and stuff like that I didn't hear the first time through.
Oh, okay.
So that to me would signify them putting effort into the trailer. I do think as an overall effort, it was kind of weird to say Mass Effect will continue. Like,
yeah, they technically didn't even give us a name. They just said, hey, it's gonna a sequel's coming. Like,
Liara being there and showing the N7, that right there is saying Mass Effect will continue. So why would you need to reiterate that? People who are fans of the series, you see Liara, we're continuing the next story. So that was a little redundant. I mean, I guess you got to do it for, the whole of the audience. But if you're already putting Easter eggs in your trailer, then this ain't for the regular fans,
Yeah. Right.
So,
yeah, 100%. Let's see.
Just call it Mass Effect 4.
Yeah, right.
It's probably just me. I'm probably in the minority on that, but it's just really obnoxious to see CGI trailers. Just get over it. Just don't. But other than that, I thought Jeff Keighley does a good job with the show. I really enjoyed Jeff Keighley's charisma. I genuinely think he loves his job, and it's really kind of refreshing to see someone just love. I mean, if you're Jeff Keighley, how can you not love your job? I mean, your job is literally just to talk about all the cool things in video games. Like, that's really easy to do. Maybe not really easy, but really fun. You know, especially when you genuinely love video games. So, good job to him. I did think the show was a little too long, especially if you're just gonna basically serve me up a freaking 2.5, 3 hour ad of, you know, a bunch of different stuff, and then in between the ads just give The Last of Us an award. I mean, you could have just lumped them all in and be like, hey, nominated for or winning, you know, the best sound design or game of the year is Last of Us Part 2, which also won this, you know. Just figure out how to streamline that, because that was
disrespecting to the other nominees, though, because just because they didn't win doesn't mean they don't deserve the recognition.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Yeah. But of course he's not here, so he can't really like answer our questions. But I wonder if what Zetch would mean by that is like for The Last of Us. Oh no, you're right though. Yeah. Yeah. That is kind of, because there's some other that would.
Yeah. That's the whole reason that award shows that they show the nominees. And that when you're nominated for something, they put it, you know, like if you're an actor, they always put, Oscar nominated, because it's a form of recognition, even if you didn't win.
Even if you didn't win, it's still a big deal to be nominated. And so basically by doing that would kind of be, saying that, the award doesn't really matter. And B, who cares about anything but The Last of Us anyway? Because it won, you know? Yeah. So that's not really fair. Yeah, if anything, I think if they wanted to cut down on time, it would be like...
Get rid of some of the frivolous awards,
Yeah, more for like most anticipated game.
Yeah, and you could have shaved a cool 5 minutes off there.
And I mean, I know they need ads to pay for the thing, but I feel like every year it's getting crazier and crazier with like how many ads there are. And like, okay, let's cut it down to like...
Figure it out. Like, take out a loan. I don't know. Call Tencent. Call Epic, something.
Call Tencent. Or even like... You know, because not everything is ads. Just because a trailer show doesn't mean it's like the world premieres. I don't think the companies pay for world premieres. And so if it's there's some world premieres
every 20 minutes.
Yeah, there's ads pretty often, and then even some of the world's premieres are just like, okay, like is there that big of an audience for that game? Like it seemed like a weird thing that like off the top of my head I can't think of any. But there's a couple games I'm like, that's a weird game to like make such a big deal about. Like it seems like more of like a niche audience game. Like did that have to be on the Game Awards? But yeah. Let's see. Let's get back here to Zetch's statement.
That was obnoxious. It's like, oh, surprise! One game of the year or one game, whatever. You know, best sound design. Which, you know, I'm not trying to say it doesn't deserve any of those awards. I'm just saying, maybe it's because I just don't. I'm just so disinterested in The Last of Us Part 2 that that also could be biasing me a little bit there as well. But my real issue, which I've made clear in the Discord, is how upset how upsetting it is that Half-Life Alyx did not even.
supergamerboys.com/discord. Join us over there and you can read the whole conversation if you want. It's pretty intense. He's going to go into it here. Let me back up 10 seconds because I froze right in the middle of what he's saying. But yeah, here we go.
So my real issue, which I've made clear in the Discord, is how upsetting it is that Half-Life Alyx did not even get a nomination for Game of the Year. It got nominated for several other categories, which is great, but it definitely got snubbed. And if your only excuse is that not enough outlets played it, then why are you even an outlet in the first place? Like, you can't say, oh yeah, we review video games, our opinion is important, and then not even have the chance to review a AAA title like Half-Life Alyx. It's not fair. That's objectively broken. And it makes it clear to me that the video game awards aren't necessarily a showcase of the best, especially since it's not really a best in the year, because Among Us came out like last year. Not knocking that one. I think it's great to see a game made by 4 people win, you know, best mobile game and get all the praise it has, which is great. You know, good on them.
Yeah, go Among Us.
But what I've really kind of learned was that the Game Awards is really just a showcase of everyone's opinion. How many people agree that, you know, they liked a particular game more than another based off of a subjective
That's
criteria, which
every award
doesn't make
thing ever.
Yeah, and that's kind
What
of yeah that's kind of what we got into the Discord discussion about. Like you were there, Adrian, a bunch of other people, and then I even had a discussion with Zech later. And yeah, it's like that's what awards are.
right?
Like
They're people's opinion.
It's
I
people's
think
opinion.
this game is better than the other one. Hence the
Right.
word "I think."
Yeah. And granted, there are like, so what something I brought up is like, okay, well, this is the Game Awards, which, as we've already said a million times, it's one big ad. Basically, it's 3 hours of just like selling stuff and the big, oh crap, look at this cool trailer moments. Like that's the whole point of it. I compared it to like, this is like a People's Choice Award. Like if you want something a little more quote unquote objective, and like, cause it's actually nominated and voted on by like peers who like understand the blood, sweat and tears that go into like, I recommend it. I'm like, watch the DICE Awards in February. They're a little more like
Inside baseball.
Again, it's still an opinion because that's just like what nominations and votes are, but it's going to be a lot more in line with I wouldn't be surprised if Half-Life Alyx won more stuff there.
Yeah.
Because like they understand like holy crap, like the technology behind this, the time and like
the lineup will be, or the lineup of winners will be much different at the DICE Awards than
like,
it would the Game Awards.
On the DICE Awards, what was it? Was it Untitled Goose Game won Game of the Year last year at DICE Awards?
Yeah.
But is this because like it was just the way they went about the storytelling in the game, and they knew like I don't know, they had the reasonings behind it. I don't think it quite deserved Game of the Year, but like it was compared to what won the Jeff Keighley Game Awards, which was what was it? Now I'm struggling to remember what won the Jeff Keighley Game Awards in 2019. It was Sekiro. It was Sekiro, wasn't it?
Sekiro, that's right.
So very, very different game. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice versus Untitled Goose Game. So yeah, you just get a very, very different feel from DICE Awards. So again, keep that in mind going forward with what Zech has to say, because he recorded this before we had that discussion, because afterwards he's like, no, you're 100% right. He's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And but yeah, we'll continue on. Unless you guys have more thoughts about what he's said so far.
Okay. Rather than objective criteria. I mean, even IGN, when they review a game, they have an objective list of where it falls in their different tiers, right? That should have been the same thing. Like, there's no way an objective reviewer could say Hades gets nominated, but Half-Life Alyx doesn't. Or, Animal Crossing gets nominated and Half-Life Alyx doesn't. It's not fair. It's not fair to Half-Life Alyx. It's not fair to the team that made that, put all those hours in. I'm not saying nobody else. I'm not trying to say one team is better than the other or one team is more deserving than the other. I'm just saying that objectively there's some criteria being broken there, especially if the whole purpose of it was creatively and technologically, which game is deserving of Game of the Year? Half-Life Alyx is the most technically advanced game you'll play this year. It is the most creatively put together game you'll play this year. Like it is just far and away incomparable to anything you've ever played. Like there's so many
So I can agree with the first statement. I think it may be the most technical game made this year for sure. But it's some of the other things that that was mentioned in the Discord that was that's again once you get outside the actual technology of it, technology can be subjective. It's solid. It's like you can look at it and be like, oh no, there is literally, I can see the technology is way more advanced kind of going into Half-Life than what's going into
but I
like Animal Crossing, but
everything
everything else is very much subjective after that.
Yeah, exactly. I brought it up to him in the Discord the other day. I said, Half-Life Alyx is technologically incredible on the outside, but that does not mean that other games are not just as complex on the inside. Even something like Animal Crossing, you have to take into account how many systems are running in place to account for what the player may do over that 24-hour period that it has to run in. That game had to be built to have something to do for the player the entire day.
Yeah.
From midnight to midnight, it has to be able to account for anything the player could do. And I'm just using Animal Crossing as an example. I'm not saying it's a better game. I'm just saying that complexity presents itself in different ways with technology. So while, yes, Half-Life Alyx is incredibly advanced in technology, that does not mean that the other games in the list do not also have that same level of complexity, just expressed differently.
Instead of in the technology, it's in different areas.
Seen any tech I've never seen any tech like the leaves and nature effects in Ghost of Tsushima before.
Right,
before
like
that game.
the in-world physics and stuff like that. Yeah,
right. And I would be hard pressed to see Alyx do anything with weather effects like that does.
I appreciate that he's so passionate about it. Like from my vantage point, I've never seen Half-Life Alyx, so I have no idea. I appreciate that he's super passionate about it and that he believes this game was the game of the year and it's his pick for game of the year and everything. But if there's 5 people on the team that they're the 5 that choose which game is game of the year, and 4 of them say Last of Us Part 2 and 1 of them says Half-Life Alyx, or they don't bring Half-Life Alyx up at all, it tells you that the majority of the people that are the ones that are doing the voting for that game have chosen Last of Us 2 as the game of the year. That's the game that to them, for whatever reason, whether it's the aesthetics, the gameplay, the story, the combat, that stands out as the game above all other games.
That is something. So I've listened to a few like IGN podcasts, like Podcast Beyond or whatever, different things, and they'll talk about how they deliberate to give nominees. Because IGN, I don't know if they give they give nominees for other things, I think. But I've just through various news articles and podcasts, hearing some of the stories about how they deliberate and bring their nominees to the table for various game awards and stuff like that. It'll be a room full of like 30 people or more, like, and they're all throwing games out there, and then each of them have to argue for their game. So it could be one of those things where Half-Life Alyx very well could have been like, pretty close on a lot of people's, at the very least on the table, and possibly in a lot of circles, like maybe even widely, like no, this should be nominated. But the problem is again, and I think we've talked about this, being a VR game, not everyone has VR. Like, yes, the person who reviewed the game probably has VR, and I'm sure there's a good portion of the people at that company. But like, again, if there's 30 people in a room and only even 10 people have VR, well, okay, the other 20 people, they're like, no, yeah, the game looks beautiful, and what I've seen sounds beautiful, and all this stuff, and looks great, like technologically it's great. But again, if those 20 people just don't have access to VR, I don't necessarily fault them for that, again, because if they work on the PlayStation segment at IGN or the Xbox, like, they don't need to have VR. And like, I don't know. So it is a weird thing. I'll give it to Zetch. Like, it's not a great system. Like, I really agree with him on that. Like, it's not a great system. Like, it's not perfect, unfortunately, because in an ideal world, everyone would be able to play everything, and then we would very much be able to like get a way better picture. But in the world we live in, like, I feel like it's the best we can do. Like, I don't know. Because
I think you also have to remember too that the Game Awards is not just, the judges are not just people from IGN or GameSpot or anything else. There's a mixture of them.
Yes.
There's a mixture of regular people and content creators. And some of those regular people and some of those content creators do not have the headset or the gear, like you said, Garrett, to play Alyx. Yeah. And to fault them, like you said, to fault them for that is, I don't know if you could fault Keeley, but I appreciate the games that win more because they had to come from the opinion of a varied audience versus if it's just the IGN, the GameSpot, the Giant Bomb, because they're just going to pick for what they already reviewed highly.
Right. Yeah.
So the fact
yeah,
that you have these dissenting and different voices is what
a little more variety in
pushes.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what pushes. Yeah, that's why I can't really argue with Last of Us winning, because it's not just games journalists saying that. It's
Right. Like I
normal
think
people like
even
me and you. It's people who stream sometimes, and then it goes all the way up to your IGN that are
yeah.
saying, "Yeah, this game rules."
And I think so I can't bring up the site now because I have way too many things open on my laptop doing this video and everything. But if you go to the Game Awards website, there actually is a page that shows all the people who like nominate things and vote on things. And I want to say there's even like, oh shoot, what was it, like head of Epic Games? Like they bring in like the heads of different companies too, or maybe not Epic. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
There was like it's not just even news outlets too. It's like some of like the heads and teams at like some of these different studios and stuff like that. So some of that is involved. Like there's a good mix, but yeah, again, it's one of those things where not everyone's focus is VR,
Mhm.
and I think, and yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's not perfect, but I also at this point VR still is a very niche thing. Like it's not something that's just widely accessible to everyone, whether it's a price point or a space thing, like they live in like a small apartment or whatever it might be. And so I think as VR gets bigger and bigger and becomes more normalized, that'll make a difference. But at this point, like we got to make do with what we have, kind of thing. And
I
it's
also want to say
unfortunate.
too, at the end of the day, none of this invaluates, none of this devalues Zetch's opinion that
Oh no, not at all.
Half-Life Alyx is an amazing game. I'm
Yeah.
1000% sure that it's incredible, but he put this up here for us to talk about.
Yeah, he sent it to us, so I'm sorry, Zach. If it, yeah, no,
Right.
I mentioned that to him in the Discord. I'm like, I really agree with you too. And what I didn't say, and this just popped in my head, what it really what it comes down to is that's just how ahead of its time Half-Life Alyx is. Because like if this game came out in another like 5-10 years when VR is just like possibly in everyone's home, I'm sure it would have won a ton of awards. But because it's at a point where not only did it push boundaries for gaming in general, but then also, but it's unfortunately specifically VR, and at a time when VR just isn't like everywhere, man, it's really, they need a category for a game ahead of its time, because this would have won it immediately. It would have been the only thing nominated,
been an interesting one,
and the only thing that won, because it 100% deserved more things. But again, it comes down to it just came out at a time when the time period faulted it. Unfortunately, that is where we're at. So I agree with that. I think it could have been nominated for more. It could have won more, but if people didn't play it, they didn't play it, and you can't fault them for it. Like there's also hundreds of games that come out in a year, so it's hard to like be like, I can't believe you didn't play this too. It's like I played like 300 other games. How in the world am I supposed to keep up with it? Yeah. Let's see. There's just a little bit left here in this video. Let's see if we can finish this out.
There's so many experiences you'll play, but you play them all from the comfort of your couch, not from a perspective of true immersion. And if gaming is all about achieving that next level of immersion and storytelling, Half-Life Alyx was the game.
And that's like what I just said. This game was ahead of its time. That's the thing. Like that's what it all comes down to. This game is just, we weren't ready for it, is what it kind of is starting to feel like.
Yeah.
And so
I don't think that's the game's fault.
Yeah, no, not at all.
It's very disappointing for me to see that game not get a nomination in the least, when it clearly achieved all that. So especially if it's something new. Animal Crossing, Hades, Doom, I mean, all great games, but none of them achieved anything nuanced. Maybe they were iterated on for sure, but they didn't introduce you to something new. They didn't show you controls or anything that, even haptically in Half-Life Alyx, I went back and played it. Even haptically, that game is far beyond anything that's ever been played. So, anyway, say all that to say,
that's extremely
Game Awards, cool. I'm out. Like, I don't think that it's really a showcase of the best as much as it is just the opinion of a bunch of people in a video game fan club. And just kind of proves to show that, if you
That
can
is
make
what
a
it
game
is.
about...
Yeah, I was like,
Never mind.
yeah.
I'm not going to go there. You guys have a good night. Merry Christmas. Drink some eggnog.
Yeah, thanks for that shot there, Zach. That's just what we wanted.
It's good eggnog. You guys have a good one. Bye.
All right.
Yeah,
Enough
that
of
was
that.
actually really, it was awesome to be able to watch Zech do a video like that, and that we've come so far with how good we are, being able to like have things like a stream on there and a secret, super secret guest like that, Garrett. I mean, what a big way we've come so far. It's all because of Patreon supporters, to be perfectly honest, just like you, Adrian. But I don't know if any of you guys caught the fact that the real story here wasn't his opinion about some video game that didn't win an award or one that did or any of that kind of stuff. Did you guys see the photo on his dresser? Because I'm pretty sure that was like one of those little gray aliens with Zech. So I think that he might also work for NASA, just like Dan, our recent guest here on the show.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I'm pretty. It was hard to see, but I smell conspiracy because it was like a little gray alien, and the guy was like, in fact, the alien was a little bit larger than Zech.
Taller than Zech?
Yeah, I mean that kind of goes without saying. You know what I mean? But I caught it. You guys go back and review the tape later.
JJ, you're getting too close. You're getting too close to the truth. You better back off.
Careful.
I know, dude. This is not the first time I've been warned.
Oh, man. So yeah, thank you, Zech, for sending that in. Again, hopefully you don't feel like we were too hard on you. Like, obviously, you knew we were going to disagree with you on some things because we talked about in the Discord. But I hope you realize, like, there's a lot of things we do agree with you on, and we also and you said it in the video, and we've said it beforehand. Yeah, like, things aren't perfect. Things are very much subjective, and that's just what the game awards are. Like, that's the world we live in. That's what awards are in the end, is like, which one do you think is the best? Because, yeah, you could, if you threw in 5 judges and they picked Last of Us Part 2, you could go run out on the street and grab 5 other completely random people to be judges, and yeah, they might pick Hades to be game of the year or something like that. Like, it just depends on who those judges are. Like, it's subjective. So yeah, that's where we land on that. It's cool. So he kind of talked about it at the beginning, so we kind of did it backwards. He talked about award winners at the end and his announcement stuff at the beginning. Were there any announcements that you guys saw, like any trailers that you guys are excited for, that came from the Game Awards?
Well, not to rub more salt in Zech's wound, the Perfect Dark cinematic was, I think, really well done. Looking forward to that. I was talking to you guys earlier about Season, which is going to be the one game that's going to make me break down and buy a PS5 if it's as good as it looks. Of course, Mass Effect, that goes without saying. I'm stoked about Sephiroth coming to Smash.
I was going to ask you about that. Cool. Because, yeah, I know you're big into the Smash. Like, I feel like I saw a lot of haters on Twitter. Like, people just like, really? Is that like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a weird circle on Twitter. But I feel like most people, maybe not haters, but people are just like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, indifferent, I guess, to it. Like, how do you feel? Are you actually excited and stoked? Like, is this really cool? Or are you just kind of like, oh, this is fine. It'll be fun to try it out at least.
I'm of the camp that this wasn't who I would. This isn't my first, second, or third pick. But it's not a pick that I hate.
Okay,
I'll take it.
Yeah, is it one that you expected?
It's a tough one. No, because the way it works in Smash is if you are a character who's a trophy or like an assist trophy, then you normally stay there, as like an item. So the fact that this is actually a really big deal because
he was a trophy?
That Sephiroth is not a trophy anymore and a character, that means anybody who was a trophy before could potentially get a slot.
Right. Because that was always a big thing. People would be like, oh, we can't, like, obviously this person, they can't come to the game because they're a trophy. But yeah, that kind of blows it all out of the water because if he was assist trophy, shoot, That's interesting. Okay. Dang.
At least I hope I'm not getting him. I might have just made myself look stupid.
No, as long as JJ's here on the show, you're fine.
No, exactly.
I could have swore
that's my role. Yeah, that's my role, Adrian. So you could say and do whatever you want, dude. You know, in fact, you need to step off.
Because I'm
you're trying
wondering
to
if
play
I
the
got
dumb
him mixed up with Alucard. I feel like I got him mixed up with Alucard.
Okay.
Which is Castlevania's
interesting. Okay.
Main villain.
Right.
So I may have to take that back. I may have to eat that crow. But I could have swore to you. I thought I saw him. Oh well.
Yeah, there's too many trophies, so I don't know them all. So that's why I just agreed with him. Like, 100%, totally. Yeah, no. Like, I think most. Yeah. Even if he's not, though, it's still for me. I thought it was interesting that it's cool. I thought it was interesting. Okay, we're getting our second Final Fantasy character. Like, it's kind of neat that they're kind of making that a thing all of a sudden. Like,
yep. And that's enough. Let's
let's move on.
Let's
give
go
some
ahead
other
and move on to
franchises
the next one.
from love.
Yeah.
Cool. For me, I'm gonna be straight up. There wasn't much that I was super excited about.
And that's fair too.
I watched, the whole thing. I skipped the things that kind of disinterested me. Anything that even remotely interested me, I did try to watch through it. It's like, okay, let's see if it grabs me. The only thing that I really was like excited about, even a little bit, like it wasn't even a lot. It was more just like, okay, this might be a fun thing. Back 4 Blood. I was a huge fan of Left 4 Dead back in the day. So Back 4 Blood is I think it's made by the same developers.
Yeah,
or not
the same team.
Is that what it is? Okay, the same team who did Left 4 Dead is making Back 4 Blood. I was like, I don't know how much time I'd end up putting in that game, but if I get a good core group together, like that could be a fun one to run for a little bit. Like I'm excited just to try that one for a little bit. I signed up for the beta, like the alpha, like they're doing like a closed alpha testing. I'm like, I'll get down on that. It's gonna be starting in a few days here. So that one seemed exciting. So if you love Left 4 Dead, check out a trailer for Back 4 Blood. Looks pretty sweet. And then, well, just because I've been playing so much of it lately, the Among Us map, I got super stoked. I'm like, heck yeah, new map. Yeah, Among Us. Heck yeah. I play Among Us way too much. Like even this last week when I should have been playing Cyberpunk, I'd catch myself just like staying up till
too much.
Yeah. Staying up till like 2 a.m. playing Among Us. I'm like, dang it, I could have played like 5 hours of Cyberpunk tonight, but instead I played Among Us. So I love it so much. And I saw it's coming to Xbox Game Pass too as well. So yeah, so if you want to play some Among Us, head over in the next few days.
I'll be picking it up.
It'll be showing up there. And yeah, honestly, that was it. Nothing much. Like there wasn't like a big boom, crazy in your face thing, but
no, but there were a lot of subtle ones that I'm like, okay, I'm looking forward to that. Like the game from, did you see the one from the dude that made A Way Out?
Oh yes, yeah. I think your audio and video is kind of getting delayed a little bit. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, so you what was it called? It Takes Two. Yeah, I did see that one.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's the one. It looks pretty sick. It has a really nice art style. I think they're using mocap now. So that's looking pretty interesting. The new Annapurna game, Annapurna published game. It's by the Fulbright company. They made Gone Home.
Okay.
It's like half hand drawn and half CGI, something like that. I think that one looks really good. Something else.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of games that kind of like looked interesting, whether it was like art direction wise or even like story wise a little bit. But again, it was, I don't know, it was one of those weird things. Like, and maybe I'm just at like a weird stage in my, I don't know, in my gaming life where it takes, and I haven't even quite put my finger on it, but it takes like very specific things to like suck me in and get me excited now. Like even this year, like it's been a weird year for games for me. Like other than Final Fantasy and Last of Us, I don't think I've played any other new games. I mean, enough Cyberpunk. Like I've only played 3 new games this year. Or like last year, almost like every month or every couple months, I was playing like a new game. I felt like and loving it. Where this year, I'm like, there's been new games. There are still things coming out even through COVID and everything, but I don't know. I've been in a weird position, so I feel like there was a lot of announcements. I like, okay, that could be cool, but it was just a strange thing to watch it and be like, yeah, but nothing I would want to like pre-order. Like where usually it's like I gotta jump on it right now kind of thing.
You got to come down to the small scale with me. I'm telling you, man, indie games are where it's at. There's something new all the time, and it's just creativity is bursting like crazy over there. Your 3 big games your 3 big games you played this year, there are at least like 20
Hades.
or 30.
I did play Hades, yeah.
Yeah. I put Hades in that camp, but I'm saying like there's 20 or 30 games that came out this year that are all like incredible work, but they don't get the spotlight that your Last of Us and your Ghost and your I don't know, other big game marquee title gets. So there's games out there. You just got to know where to look.
Yeah, and that's I love following you on Twitter because you're always just like, check this game out. Oh, this looks so dope. Oh, this is so cool. And I love watching the trailers. I'm like, oh man, there's so much cool stuff out there. Yeah. But so if you guys are all wondering about some sweet game recommendations, just go follow Adrian on Twitter, and he'll hook you up with that sweet stuff.
I know where it's at, man. You got a good eye for it.
Yeah, you do, man. It's almost like you should start a sweet segment on our podcast called like the Indie Spotlight or the Indie Corner, and just like talk about a cool indie game of the week that everyone should play. Like that'd be pretty sweet, huh? You can just send us a little video like what Zetch just did. You can just clip it in there, or you can just join us live whenever you're available. Join us live and do it.
Yeah,
I'd be down.
Let me get to
cool.
it.
Do you guys have any other thoughts on the Game Awards? We're getting into the
I
show
think overall
here.
it was really good. It could be tighter. Definitely, he could probably have chopped an hour off.
And then some.
Yeah. I think the orchestra medley at the end was incredible.
Oh,
I don't know why they don't record that and put it on streaming somewhere.
So good.
That was probably one of the highlights of the night for me. That was so well done.
100%.
Other than that, I've been talking a lot. What do you think, JJ?
I think that it was an hour and a half too long. I think that the thing is like, I can't, it's so boring for me to sit through a lot of that stuff. And I get it. I know it's a big ad, but a lot of it just seems like filler to me. Or I tried to sit through part of it. I found myself fast forwarding through a lot of the Game Awards, and there was only certain moments that like stood out. And I was like, whoa, that's dope. That looks great. A lot of it, I was like, okay. Okay. You know,
I can't argue with you.
Yeah. So, but I'll look forward to next year, because the only thing that they could have done better is, man, I really wish that they wouldn't have snubbed Half-Life Alyx. I wish that, oh wait, somebody already else took that platform. Oh, shoot. I did it again. Shoot.
Oh, man.
I almost felt bad. I almost
felt bad. Just a little bit.
I'm good. I'm totally fine. Yeah. I love you, Zetch. I love you. I put you right back in my pocket. Just like that.
It's like that. Okay, cool. Well, that's the Game Awards 2020. And that was it was fun. It was, while also being, I don't know, yeah, it was a little bit of everything. It was like, oh, it was fun, while also being like, okay, this is boring, while also being, yeah, just everything. It was a whole range of emotions going in this year. And who knows whether it was the Game Awards' fault or even just because it's been a crazy year. Maybe it's just because it's 2020. Let's see if we can start over in 2021. And
what helped me was watching it with somebody, or like watching somebody stream it.
Yeah, that does.
Because having people comment, like I watched it through, I think I watched it through Kind of Funny stream this year.
Okay.
And just having their banter going back and forth and commentating on it, I think helps it feel like you're watching it with other people hanging out. So I think that really helped it from being as boring as it actually probably was. So I would
Yeah.
recommend that if anybody was going to go back and watch it. Try to find somebody who you like and see if they did a reaction stream or if they did a stream of it, then watch it that way.
Yeah, I saw Kind of Funny. Lana Pierce was doing a live
What's Good
reaction
Games?
stream. What's Good Games? Like, there's a lot of outlets
I
out there.
think,
So go
GameSpot,
check out some of
Easy
those.
Allies,
And
everybody, a lot of people did it.
especially in a year when you can't just like head over to someone's house and hang out and have a beer and watch it together. At least hang out with your virtual friends. And a lot of them have the VODs available on their Twitch channel. Go watch it there on YouTube, and makes it a little more palatable. Alrighty, let's just hit this last news story real quick. I don't think there's much to talk about necessarily, at least for me. I don't know. We'll see. Adrian always has the heavy hitters. He's got the goods. But we'll see if he what we all have to say about this one. So Halo Infinite, you all know it. It was a launch title for Xbox Series X. Supposed to come out last month. It had been delayed indefinitely, no launch date. Well, it officially, this comes from The Verge over there, we officially now have a release window. So still nothing set in stone. But we have a launch window now of fall 2021. Now, again, I said there's not much more to the news article. Like, I don't have any interview to read or anything like that. Like, that's it. That's the whole thing. Other than, okay, I'll take that back. 343 Industries did say that's working hard to create the best looking Halo game ever. And they spend some time delving into graphics specifically, according to the creative director Joseph Staten. It's already possible to play through the entire campaign, so much of the work remaining is polished.
They need to stop.
And
Didn't they
multiplayer.
just see CD Projekt Red just got in trouble for lying like this? Stop.
Yeah.
It's not ready to go. It doesn't look good. It's not playable. Just be quiet and work on the game.
My thoughts exactly. It's like, why?
It looks great right now. It's running great right now.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful. The campaign's play. No, it's not, or else it would be out. Stop.
Yeah. Or else it would, exactly. Like, and so to spend an entire year just polishing, that seems kind of crazy. Like, granted, I'm not a game designer. I have never made a game, nor will I probably ever, as much as I'd love to. So if anyone out there wants to make a game and have me on, hit me up. But here's the other thing. What I was going to say is, from what I've heard from like documentaries and some of these other things and stories and books or whatever about building games, a lot of the polishing usually happens this last few months. And usually just in the last few months, like they can do some pretty good work with that. Like it's like years and years of building the game, and then polish should only take like a few months. So the fact that they think it's going to take a year to quote unquote polish, yeah, exactly what you said. That seems like code for, no, this game is in shambles and really we're rebuilding this thing from the ground up. Like,
pretty much.
That's what they're saying.
I almost want to tell them take two.
Somebody needs to tell the people who are making Fast and the Furious game to just stop. Just like, look, I don't know. Yeah. Have you guys ever seen that?
It's awful.
It's horrible.
Yeah. They did the development and never did the polishing. They're just like, screw it, let's send it out. Yeah, we're good. Like, we're good.
It runs. We're done.
Yeah. They pulled a Cyberpunk. No.
No, they might have. We'll save it for Thursday. We'll save it for Thursday.
But yeah, so I just thought this was bizarre though, because I think most people were like, oh, it'll get delayed to like spring, maybe summer at the latest, right? So for them to say like fall 2021 and not even give like a month, like it is like this, enigma of just fall sometime. It's like, oh, that's not good. Like that means they were pretty far off, and which even blew my mind even further. Like where, like, because they only delayed it. What was it? It was only like a couple weeks before it was supposed to come out, right?
Yeah,
like it was.
Because
so like
I think we got that preview. Wasn't it like October?
I think so, like the beginning. So like maybe a little more than a month, like a month and a week or something before
the Series X launched.
Something like that, yeah. And so it blows my mind that up until 2 weeks before it was supposed to come out, they were going to ship it. They were going to ship it.
They were going to ship that.
Holy smokes! Like that has me worried as well. Like when that hit me just this afternoon, I'm like, oh, dude, like, yeah, up till 2 weeks before, they were like, no, this is good. This is fine.
Dude, it makes me want to like take Phil Spencer by the shoulders and be like, what are you doing? Why aren't you looking at Halo is your biggest property? That should be the most under the microscope. What are you doing? Why are you letting this look like this? You know what? I could Dutch out right now. I'm gonna stop.
I like that. Oh boy. So yeah, that's it for the nerdy nudes. There was actually some news today about Cyberpunk, but again, we will save that for Thursday. So join us over at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys. Remember, you can go there ahead of time. Follow us. Make sure the bell icon is clicked on there and get those notifications when we go live. And I might see about posting the audio and video later as well, like on YouTube and podcast services, maybe down the road. That way, if people miss the stream, they can still watch it. Because unfortunately, we're not, what is it on Twitch? Affiliate? We're not affiliate yet. So
affiliate,
our videos disappear after like a few days, like a couple weeks or something. So I'll see about reposting that later too. But
you're working on it.
I'm working on it. Let's get into the Patreon ad. This is the part of the show where I talk about Patreon, where you should go to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us over there. Just like our co-host today, our boss, our Patreon producer, Adrian Holmes here. He did that. I don't think he's regretted it too much. I mean, JJ's only said a couple horrible things on the podcast that maybe made you question your support, but hey, you're still here.
Okay, I doubt that. I've never gotten any DMs from Adrian saying like, hey, that was kind of like borderline misogynistic and like maybe you shouldn't have said that. I mean,
the views expressed in this podcast don't necessarily reflect the parent company's blah 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 blah.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what that disclaimer is at the beginning of every episode. JJ's views are his own and only his own.
Exactly. And you know what? And Adrian supports us at such a rate that he gets special treatment. It was just earlier on today that he got a mani-pedi from Garrett. And it was I thought it was weird that Garrett didn't have a shirt on the entire time. I don't know why Adrian requested that, but the nails do look great, man. They look, and it's, it's Garrett's attention to detail that separates the men from the boys. Doesn't it, Garrett? Yeah,
very detail oriented. Very.
So you
ready for sandal season.
That's the whole thing. I wear sandals like even in winter because I have diabetes, so like I don't feel my feet anyway. So you can support. I'm just kidding. I don't have diabetes. That was kind of hurtful. I'm probably going to offend the diabetes culture. All right. So hey, if you want to support us on Patreon, you could do that, and for even just $1 a month, you guys can get this sweet content and help us out a little bit. And you even get it early, right, Garrett?
Early and ad-free, so you don't get the before the show, after the show, and in the middle. This section that we're talking right now, you wouldn't even hear, and then also ads from our the network. We are part of a podcast network. I know we haven't talked about it in a long time, but you will get those ads cut. You will get the show tonight after we finish recording. I edit as fast as I possibly humanly can, get it up there on Patreon, so that way, like our friends over in Wales, like Dan, he can actually, it's the middle of the day for him, he listen in and gets that right away before everyone else when it comes out on Wednesday. So that's just $1 a month. You can get that. The $5 level, you get that plus the show notes. So when we pop those out there, that gives you the opportunity to check in and see what in the world the show is going to be about. And I always put it out there on the as a commenter. So when you click on the link on there, you can actually leave notes on the show for us. So if there's ever a time where you're like, hey, I want to share my thoughts on this news story, this article, or whatever's going on, or you just want to share what you've been playing, go ahead and leave your comments on there. No one ever really does it. They used to do it, once in a great while. But if you want to support us at $5 a month, like I said, then you can, we'll read those on air. So if you have your own little thoughts or opinions on different news stories, or again, if we were doing Game Awards stuff, you could have left your thoughts on that. $10 a month, that's our sponsor level. You get the shout out in the show, just like those we shout out earlier, Bill Bird, Julie Bates, Brent Fox, and Daniel James. Again, Thank you guys so much for supporting us. And then the top dog tier, we got the Patreon producer, Adrian Holmes, the man, the myth, the legend, here on the show with us.
He is an awesome double bicep right now. We saw an amazing side curl. He did the old Jesse Ventura side curl right now. Adrian Homeboy Holmes supporting us at the top tier. And just earlier on tonight, he said he was going to up the rate to $30 a month. Holy crap! It's amazing. Wait, hey, we said it on the show. It means it's legal tender, my friend.
That thing I had you sign before we started recording. Yeah, sorry, it was hidden in
That's
the
what
fine
that
print.
was.
It was you giving us consent to use your image and voice on the show, and also upping your support. But thank you so much for that. But no, at the Patreon producer level, you get to, well, heck, be on the show, just like our awesome producer here. He's been on the BioShock bonus episode. Again, that's another perk you get at just $1 a month and up. You get our Super Gamer Book Club episodes exclusive to Patreon. Adrian guested on that. He's been on episodes in the past. He gets to come on tonight, talk about the illustrious Game Awards. Once in a while, he'll pitch us some fun segments to do on the show. I realized the other day I was going through our Twitter DMs. I'm like, oh, that Materia Minute. I think there was like an emergency popped up and I had to jump out of that show, and I never did your Materia Minute. I think like Zetch did it, and JD obviously didn't do it because he doesn't know what Materia is.
I don't know what that is, but I just like, oh yeah, I remember that, but I don't really know what that is.
But yeah, I was like, oh shoot. So if you really want me to, I can do my research and jump back in, in another episode and try that. But Adrian's awesome. Or hey, we pitched that indie segment earlier. I think you should think about that one if you have some time.
Well, I was just riffing. You came up with it.
Yeah. Well, I like it. So yeah, you get to shout out, the segments for the show possibly. And yeah, pretty much you're our boss. Like whatever Adrian says goes for the most part. So he doesn't know that, but that's what we tell everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well,
I take a Microsoft approach. I just buy you guys and then I'm hands off. You do your thing.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So wait. So you're the Microsoft, and you're the Phil Spencer, and we're the Halo Infinite, and we're the Halo Infinite that's not quite done yet. Oh no, this is not good. He is compared us to Halo Infinite. Oh boy.
We may have to delay the next book club. I didn't want to have to tell you guys this way.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
Makes sense.
I'll let Zetch know. But alrighty guys. Well, yeah, like I said, support us over at patreon.com/supergamerboys. We love all you guys who support us. I know they don't listen to this segment, but if for some reason they hear it, know that we love you and appreciate all the support and what it means to us, and giving us the gumption to keep doing this awesome thing. So let's get into the next part of the show. Alrighty, guys. So, what you been playing? It's a pretty simple segment, and I know for me, I've been playing Among Us, and I don't have much more to add other than Cyberpunk, and we can't talk about that till Thursday. So, I guess the question really is for you, JJ, and you, Adrian. Have you been playing anything other than Cyberpunk?
I have not played Cyberpunk, and I'm not allowed to technically talk about it because I have nothing to talk about Cyberpunk. I really wanted to get it, but after seeing a few things, I've decided to hold off and wait until I can get a sweet PS5 copy. I've been playing Miles Morales. My 9-year-old son recently said, Dad, I really want to play the new Spider-Man game. And I said, sure, dude, have at it. So he started playing while I was at work. And when I came home, he's like, Dad, I beat the game. And I'm like, okay, I've been on it for like 3 weeks. And I have not beaten the game because I don't have the time that he has. But he just busted it out and got it done. So now I'm like, find myself completely honest, guys. I'm going to be honest with you guys because I feel like we're friends. Or at least I'm friends with you, Adrian. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so,
okay.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, right?
I see how it is. Yeah.
Because he pays me to be his friend. Like that's the whole thing. You see what I'm saying? So
a transaction.
Yeah, there's a it's like having a whore, okay, where you give money. It's kind of like that. I'm like a comedy whore. and these are my services. I whore it up
Okay.
with comedy and humiliate myself. Um,
Oh my God.
what is it? Don't edit that stuff out. It's good stuff.
That's
I
the
won't,
goal.
you know.
Yeah, that's the stuff right there.
I'm too lazy for that.
No, I'm completely aware. So I love the Spider-Man game. The 9-year-old he spent all day and destroyed it, and now I'm like, oh man, I'm coming to parts where I can't beat bosses, and I'm like, do I dare say like, hey dude, come here, like help Dad get through this one, like, or where is that thing at? Where am I supposed to find that cord to connect it to the power? How the heck did he find it? I hate to admit it, but I think my 9-year-old's smarter than me. I know my 5-year-old's smarter than me, but like she's a girl. So like I accept that. That's okay. But like the 9-year-old is a boy. Technically, he's supposed to be dumber than me, but he's not. And that kind of worries me a little bit. I'm going to be perfectly honest. The game is awesome. I started this week doing some of the side missions. I have nice. Pretty much stayed on the main mission the entire time. So this week I broke down and I was like, oh, you know what? There's a robbery happening over here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm so glad that I did, because there's so much meat on the bone on some of those little stories, those little side missions that are a lot of fun. And I was like, man, by just going through the main mission, I'm missing out on so much that the game has to offer. It's just a matter of sometimes, especially when you're somebody who talks about games in a podcast form, it's very much you want to like finish the game so you can talk about it in the ultimate experience. But a lot of times when you're rushing through getting through that main story because you want to talk about it, you're missing the point of just the enjoyment of why you got into video games in the beginning. And so I kind of realized that this week by going through a couple of those side missions. I'm like, I'm really digging on some of these little things where, I'm helping some old lady find a cat or whatever. It's like, there's some great little side missions in Spider-Man Miles Morales. So if you haven't already bought a PS5, Adrian, you need to get one, because this game is one of those console buyers, man. You got to pick it up.
If I ever do, it's definitely on the list.
That's awesome.
So
I'm jealous. I'm jealous of you. I wish I could play it, because Miles Morales is even on PS4. So I'm like, man, can I justify buying another game this month? No. Should I just wait for PS5?
Wait.
Okay.
Wait, for sure.
Okay.
Adrian, what about you? What have you been playing this week?
Let's see. When I'm not playing Cyberpunk, I've actually been going back and forth between a couple of things. One of my great shames that I'm fixing is I have never played the Yakuza series. So I started Yakuza 0, and it's awesome.
Okay.
It was not what I was expecting, but I say that in the best way. You play as a how should I word this? You play as a member of the Yakuza who ends up having something happen to them on one of the jobs that they go out and do, and that sets off a whirlwind of events that you have to deal with throughout the game. And apparently there are 6 other games that I did not know about. And if they're all as good as this, I'm in.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I think one just came out, right? Yakuza Like a Dragon?
6.
That's the newest one. But what's that?
That was part 6, wasn't it? The one that just came out, Yakuza?
I think that's 7. So there's 7 of them. Okay. Yeah. But if they're all as good as this one, I'm in. If I'm not doing that, I've actually been playing a lot of Streets of Rage with my brother.
Okay.
I got the Genesis Mini. And I just plug that in.
So like the original, not like a new one. Okay.
No, not 4. I have yet to play 4. I've heard both sides of the spectrum on it, so I'm trying to wait for a good sale, not like that's pretty good, like a deep one, like maybe 50 or more, and then I'll probably pick it up. I know it's on Game Pass too, so I'm thinking about probably doing it there. But yeah, just been cranking that out.
That's awesome. So wait, you're playing on the Genesis Mini, you said?
Mm-hmm.
So that reminds me, you have my Genesis Mini, Garrett. So thank you, Adrian, because I totally forgot about that.
Do I?
Yeah.
When did I get your Genesis Mini?
I took it to the studio that we had set up when we used to be able to, before social distancing.
The before time.
Huh.
Yeah,
Before time.
We don't talk about it any longer.
Yeah,
But.
I guess I should give that back to you because I have an actual Sega Genesis now. I don't really need the Mini, so
wow.
Yeah,
you bought a whole Genesis? You know how much some of those games cost?
So I did not buy it. It was my wife's cousin was clearing out their garage and had a Sega Genesis, and they're just like, "Hey, we're just gonna take us to Goodwill. Like, do you want it?" I'm like, "Yes,
heck yeah."
100%. He only had a couple games like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and a couple sports game. I think there's like NFL, Madden, and then there was like maybe a hockey game. So nothing crazy, but it's still super cool to have the Genesis again because I had one growing up and loved the thing.
It's amazing.
So I'm like, yes,
it's rad.
Got a Genesis. Love that thing.
And that Sonic 2 is still an incredible game.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
so good,
definitely.
So good. But no, that's cool, dude. That's cool that you're playing the Mini again. I didn't even realize that there was a Genesis Mini that came out. I don't know how I missed that. We probably talked about it on the show, but it just totally like went out of my head. But
it's probably the best of the mini consoles, I would say.
Okay.
The people who did the ports of the games, M2, are famous for having like the best. They're the best in the business when you want an old game restored for current hardware.
Dang.
So Sega tasked them with bringing all those classics up to modern day to put on the Genesis Mini, and they look awesome, they sound awesome, and they play awesome.
So you didn't get the at games version of it, Adrian. You didn't get the at games version. You got the M2 version.
No.
Okay.
I would not hold my door open with the at games Sega Genesis.
Okay, Garrett, the one that is mine is the at games version that he wouldn't hold his door open for. You could keep it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
should I mail it to Adrian?
If you wanted, like, in case you need a doorstop, bro. I mean, I'm cool. Just go ahead and give him that.
Just return to sender. Dang it. Oh boy. Well, cool guys. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, bringing the people. Another fun episode. It's been good talking with you guys, hanging out with you guys tonight. Thank you, listeners, for listening and watching, however you are ingesting this media here. Remember, you can support us over at patreon.com/supergamerboys. If you really love what we do, you want us to keep getting bigger and better. Maybe one day we'll be in IGN. Who knows? You never know. Anything's possible. If you also, love our show to the point where you want to slap a sticker on your computer or maybe wear a t-shirt on your body, go over to sgbstore.com and buy some sweet merch over there. I'm sure you saw me during the show sipping from my Super Gamer Boys mug. JJ's usually wearing his t-shirt. We got a lot of fun stuff over there. So go check it out, sgbstore.com. Rate and review us over on your favorite podcast service. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to smash that like button and remember to subscribe to the channel so you know when the new videos come out, whether it's the episodes every 2 weeks or, again, with that Cyberpunk thing, I'm going to try to figure out how to get that on YouTube as well. That way we have that saved for posterity there. You can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys, facebook.com/supergamerboys. I am on Twitter at gmorlang. JJ's over on Twitter at
JJ Purdom. You can catch me on not only Twitter but also Instagram.
Instagram as
well.
And
I posted like 2 times. It's freaking awesome.
Yep, twice, and that's about it. That's probably all we're gonna get.
Yeah, and I'm probably pretty much retired from here on out.
You can find Adrian over on Twitter for sure. Are you on Instagram at all or no?
You can find me everywhere but PSN at Homeboy.
At Homeboy. It's HOLMBOI. So yeah, go check him out. Like I said before, if you're looking for sweet indie games, follow him on Twitter. He's always posting about some cool new game coming out. Half of them I'll take that back. 90% of them I've never heard of, but they all look so cool. Thank you so much to Star Andrews for our logo. Check her out on Instagram at Ground Floor Graphics, Facebook.com/Ground Floor Graphics. And that is all I have for the show this week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for the digital immortal Zetch Keenan, and also this week our guest, the sponsor, the producer, the director, and pretty much the overlord of the Super Gamer Boys. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Adrian Homeboy Holmes. And then Garrett the Grinch Morlang. Okay. I like that. I kind of like that. And then myself. Yeah, and myself. JJ. Purdom. I don't have any nicknames. I don't need them. They're unnecessary. No nicknames needed.
It's indescribable.
The game finisher.
Ooh. Ooh. Well, it is kind of. I'm used to it. It's okay.
We don't have to lie. We don't have to lie here.
Working title. JJ, working title Purdom. All right.
See? Already.
Right? I like that. I like that a lot. All right. We are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we will catch you on the flippity flop.
Peace.